I made a horrible mistake. I was up until about 9 a.m. this morning.
Oh!
Because I had some work to do. And I did my work after I hit 70, which I did at about 6 a.m. I played for 12 and a half or so hours, getting from 10 to 70. And it was a horrible mistake, and I wish I never did it. Is that because I stayed up too late and I'm getting a little bit too old? I'm a little bit tired? Possibly, slightly something like that. But why would you rush this, lol? Fucking... If I had a reason, I would tell you. So, the reason it was a mistake is because my character, I'm not even joking, feels like pseudo-minorly bricked. Because it's just not... It's busted.
Yeah?
It's scaling.
You're screwed.
Is busted. Yeah. I literally, like, if I want to play, like, I don't know if I'll have much time today or this weekend. I don't have any next week, but... Like, if I want to play some MoP Remix and I want to play, like, the actual content that I can't just do, because obviously you can go do quests and, like, stuff like that, 70 or whatever. But if you want to actually, if you want to play the game properly, do raids and things, don't fucking level up.
Yeah,
Don't
level 30. Raiding has always been most fun at level 30. That's why they did Season of Discovery.
Oh my god. So, yeah, don't level up. It's a horrible mistake. Unless you want to level up, like, that's fine. Obviously, do that. But... And, like, just quest, whatever you want. But I feel like once you hit level 60, delete your character and start again. Spend all your bronze, delete your character. I swear to God. Because the scaling just... you hit the wall. Like,
I need to let you put your character into the scrapper.
Yeah, that would be a good move. Scrap all your gear for bronze and then move on. That's what it feels like. It is horrible.
So basically what's happened, just, I guess, to catch people up, as it is in World of Warcraft scaling, as, you know, you get more powerful, everything else gets more powerful along with levels. The point is that you have a bigger toolkit as time goes on, as you level up, which I suppose makes it feel like you are progressing, even though you're facing harder. You're progressing, you're facing harder challenges, but you have more tools, ideally. And then at endgame, you get more and more and more power to the point where, you know, you feel really powerful. But the problem is the scaling is basically really, really messed up. So you just don't seem to be gaining power as you level up the normal leveling curve, such that by the time you're at a high level, you basically end up with a character that feels real weak.
This isn't sort of weak. This isn't kind of weak. This isn't, oh, well, you're a little bit stronger at level 30 than you would be at 70 with no gear. This is, I was trying to level level from 60 to 70, and it slowed down drastically because you know how the XP curve in the game works. It's the same XP curve. You just have a shit ton more to do. So I was like, okay, right, let's do that. Okay, I finished all of Jade Forest and all of Kunlai Summit.
Whoa.
I was like, yeah, I played for 12 hours and I went fucking fast the whole time. This was after 3 or 4 hours of dungeon farming. Also almost exalted with the Cloud Serpent rep in one day. So there you go. I think I'll be like upgrading. Maybe upgrade your gems and gear. Fuck you. How's that? Yes. I was appropriately geared for the levels, right? Now at 70, when you're really like, you're supposed to really pump a lot of bronze into upgrades, like get loads and loads of upgrades, then you'll be strong, and that's where like the max power you'll ever be.
Wait, explain me that, please. Words. Just as in, so the upgrades.
Yeah.
So you have the item level of your gear, which currently is gated by your character level.
Yeah.
At level 70, how much further up does that go?
Yes. That goes up, yes. Yes. That goes up to 560 or so.
Oh.
When you hit level 70, you get like 320, 330 gear. So it is an absolute shit ton of scaling, and it's like you get the weapon at complete max gives like 50k intellect or something stupid. At the minute I have like 5k.
50,000.
Yeah, 346. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. It's really, really stupid. It's like, it is a massive amount of like, you can become, you know, do Mythic Garage with a handful of boys strong is like the intent, right? Especially because the cloak is literally uncapped. They said that in the Soul Breeze interview. The cloak is literally uncapped. You can just farm your cloak out forever. Obviously, with diminishing returns on stats, it's not going to, 12 intellect, a lot when just hit 65, you're getting 12 intellect, or 12 strength or agility, whatever. But whenever you've got, 20,000, another 12 is not going to mean much. So it's like a little baked in diminishing returns there.
So do you think this is basically, they have their intended power curve, but they've maybe misjudged in around endgame?
Horribly.
And there's essentially, there's just a dip. And maybe we presume that, there's the dip. After the dip, really good.
That seems to be the intent.
Yeah.
But I will say the dip is not a dip. It is a valley. It is falling off a cliff into the abyss.
I know what they've done. Everyone's talking about this as ARPG inspired. Okay, no, they haven't done this on purpose, to be clear.
Okay, right. I was wondering for a second.
What they have accidentally manifested is Diablo 3 launch. So the way it was on the launch of D3, as you went up, I don't know. Well, I don't think there were world tiers, whatever the name of them was, right? I remember in Chaldean, the little bugs that shoot smaller bugs, little green bugs.
Not really, but go ahead.
Playing that as a demon hunter, or whatever they were called.
They were demon hunters. Yes.
Yeah, 2 of the projectiles would kill you. Sometimes even one, they accidentally, it just accidentally went a little bit bullet hell. Not really bullet hell, but the slightest mistake and you would die. And it was extremely grindy, and they sort of initially, just the way that things were was not really great. And with Reaper of Souls and Loot 2.0 and all the changes that they made, they basically did, so via the rifts that happened later on in Diablo, yes, you can definitely, scale it to the tits, but they just had you by default kind of be a lot more powerful, get a lot more gear. They kind of refactored the difficulty levels, and basically it turned Diablo 3 into the sort of, this is a progress, infinite progress game. Turned it into that, away from something that felt like you were going really slow and everything was really painful. And I guess they've inadvertently done the same thing here, where you hit max level and you feel awful.
It's not even just max level, by the way.
Oh, it's 60 and up?
It's 65 and up. It's 60 and it gets worse at 60 and up, but 65 and up, you become useless. I was 66 or 67 or something. I was Resto Shaman. And I leveled as Resto because the entire time I was doing way more damage than I was as Ellie, because healer skilling. I was straight up I swapped to Ellie a few times to say, okay, am I doing more damage now? And the answer is no. The answer is I cannot kill things in 2-chain lightning, so I can't. So why would I play Ellie instead of Resto, where I can do that? I can just Stormkeeper, and obviously all of the Tinker gems come into effect as well, where, I'm going to round up 10 mobs, chain lightning with Stormkeeper, and they're all dead. But I was it was slower and slower and slower and slower and slower. Then I did a raid in Resto Druid, was top DPS. Yeah. Healer damage skilling is below 60 and below 70 is busted as hell. It's there's going to be some crazy meta happening. But I was okay, well, I couldn't be bothered questing for a bit because I just finished these 2 zones. I'll go do a dungeon to see if that's any faster, see if the bonus XP, whatever else. And I joined into a Storm Stout. No, it wasn't. Temple of the Jade Serpent. Temple of the Jade Serpent, I was 67, 68, and everyone else level 20 something. That was Resto Shaman. Mm. There's quite a few mechanics in that. I joined a group that had already beat the first boss. Thank fuck, because I wouldn't have survived. I just died every trash pull because any single mechanic that was targeted that I didn't have astral shift up for, I died. Wow. And this is I can't remember what he's called, but in the boss in the library that has Strife and Agony, or it has the Suns. The Suns one, the guy there does an attack that's literally a quick, super quick cast, non-interruptible arrow shot that targets a random player. Mm. He hit me with 2 of them and I died. And I mean, they were hitting the other DPS for 5% of the health and just killing me. It's genuinely completely broken.
Wow.
It is unplayable almost at like that bracket, which is really dire. Like
and I guess the problem then is you're in a raid with, because the levels are always going to be mixed. Mm-hmm. I know in Heart of Fear
has the mechanic that if you bring a level 70 to a Heart of Fear, you'll wipe.
Yeah.
If they get targeted, that's it. That's it, because it scales incorrectly. It is scuffed. It feels like the problem they've always had of low levels being stronger than higher levels, which has literally been a thing since World of Warcraft put scaling in the game, basically, since Chromie time. And I can't remember
level 91 twigs.
Yeah, it's like it was bad around the like post MoP time, where it was literally like, okay, well, every level you get weaker, and that's the case. That it still feels that way in the War Within, on Alpha at least so far. You're like, I don't want to level up because I'm weaker. You're like, oh, but you get a cool new ability, yeah, but I also lose I lose more than I gain from getting the new ability, the new talent thing. It happens in
your ratings run away.
Yeah, it happens all the time. And that's really, really, really bad for specifically... Because, in this... For combat stats, fine, sure, whatever. But the place that happens the worst is your tertiary stats. Because every single level I got as a Resto Shaman, I was running slower. I was running slower. I had less leech.
Oh, that's great.
I was weaker. It was because I had something like 30% speed from gems and things like that, and then I was like, I just leveled up a few times. What is it? 15. I just lost 15% of my speed. Class. So I feel like that's the major issue that's really bugged me, and that's the mistake I made. I leveled, and I shouldn't have, because this remix thing does bounce off against, this realistically, it doesn't need to matter to you if you're playing, quest and content or whatever else, because you're weaker, but you can get away fine. I could still Gigapull, I had to pay more attention to what I was doing. I had to pop healing cooldowns and stuff to Gigapull. I still had a lot of my damage do stupid things. I could just pull a big group and just, Stormkeeper, Chain Lightning, fire off a couple things, and the things would just explode. Acid Rain as well. So it is incredibly jank is exactly the way they put it. I don't know how limited they are on changing their scaling stuff, because they don't want to impact the live game at the same time, but these are the same game. They can't really change things too specifically there. So a lot of all of the change they did in terms of scaling and damage was... And this is where the problem of this being experimental runs into the problem of systems design and balance, where the theory I have is that this became a problem because of the way that gear is handled differently. So your item level is extremely low.
Yes.
Until you clear normal heroic raids, all heroic scenarios, hit 70, and you'll have the other scenario one anyway, because that's how you get your rings and trinkets. So I have 2 trinkets, so my item level's not that low anymore. But my item level was 200 though. So
yes, I see what you mean.
I don't know if that's a part of it or if something else a part of it, which is really frustrating, because otherwise I have absolutely loved this, and I had the time of my fucking life doing everything.
Then it turns out all a mistake.
Yeah, it was going beautifully, and I hit 60, and the game just went, and your fun has been switched off, mate. I'm like, it will come back at some point, but rather than me grinding at level 70, I feel like the correct thing for me to do is to just roll another character.
Get your cloak up.
Yeah, because that's the thing where, there's the other part where Cloak doesn't get extra experience once you hit the 65, which I noticed, and that sucks balls. That was confirmed in the interview with Social Breezy. That was
something that maybe saw as a designer problem, but
it was an idea that the reason behind it, okay, I understand the reasoning, but that's not it.
And this is why game developers should never think.
Yeah.
It always ends back. It's that tricky thing. It's really easy to think of something that's a problem, and then because you are solution oriented, you then over-index how important the problem is, and it maybe turns out that doing nothing actually might have been better. Because maybe somebody gets some XP threads at level 70 and is like, oh, I don't really need those. Yeah. But it probably wouldn't matter that much, especially since the framing of the entire thing is account-wide.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope they rework that or fix that or remove that at some point, because I'm assuming that's literally a thing they can just flick on and off. If you can, and you cannot turn off XP again because then you would hit level 30 and you would have the time of your life. Or you'd probably hit 40 because once you have 40, you've accessed everything in the game. So every level beyond that is pointless. Except for like, you get your talents, things like that, but it feels worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Which is very, very interesting. Overall, I think it's a great idea, and a lot of it is handled well. It's literally just this like running into the scaling issue, which I don't know if they had the potential to fix, or it's kind of weird because people complained about it a lot on PTR, and even like I noticed things like that where like you hit the wall in terms of XP again. It was like everything stopped giving you XP on PTR after 60, unless you like, except for I think it was just raids was the only way to get XP because quests broke. I think that was it. And that was kind of weird, but it is completely scundered. But just hitting like 65 and going like a huge amount of ults is probably the thing to do, because as an example, do I remember or do I not? I had 128% XP again on my cloak on my level 70. And I think that was about 60-ish when I opened an alt. Because the point is, the more threads you have on your cloak in total, you unlock an achievement called Infinite Power. And it goes Infinite Power 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to, I don't know what it is. Pretty high. And mine's 11. And the higher the cloak, the more percentage of the things you get from your cloak are on your alts. So basically the amount of power sharing increases. And the power sharing is not busted. It's not super strong. They don't have you feeling like an unbelievable god when you hit, like when you're level 10 fresh, but it does feel pretty good to open an alt and have 60% XP or so, and also like I think I have like 500% more stamina than I'm supposed to have. So something like stupid like that.
The more characters, you can imagine, I suppose, the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Although Infinite Power
the ball doesn't roll that hard.
Yeah, Infinite Power that'll be your maximum cloak on any character.
Oh, 12's the last one? Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So I guess your number one goal is to hit Infinite Power 12.
If you want alts, yeah. It's probably not even worth it compared to hitting like 65 and then just rolling again. If you're going for pure XP again, obviously, that's it. So like, it's kind of weird because it does feel like the idea that the best way to play this would be to play a shit ton of characters all the time, not to do everything on one character, because you're losing out on XP again. You're losing out on a bunch of like things, because even like repeatable achievements and things. So if you fly around Jade Forest, there's 200 bronze. Do again an alt, another 200 bronze.
Yeah. So
like, why would you kind of you clear the whole map, whatever you want. But it feels like there's a lot of weird stuff in it. I still think it's overall really positive and a great thing. It's just it's a very marred experience if you try to play like I did, which was just level up. And I wasn't even like super speed giga leveling or anything. I did have auto accept and turn in quests on because I've done Pandaria a dozen times, so I'm alright. That said, I did do some Kunlai Summit stuff that I hadn't done in a long time, and the Up North was an excellent questing that I forgot about. I'm like, this game, Miss Pandaria, everyone knows you an apology. Always have, to be honest. But is bronze kind of wide? No, it's not. It's character based. It's character based, but with that many small things, you can just buy like something for 2,000 for the character, and whatever. So I was gonna say the other thing I wanted to say when we were just talking about this immediately is that I got about 30k bronze in 12 hours leveling. That is probably decently efficient speed-wise because I was getting a bunch of achievements for dungeons and scenarios and everything like that. I know the intent is like doing Mythic or Heroic Siege is going to be the best source of bronze for your time.
30k
apparently. I have a funny feeling he misspoke. I can't imagine a Mythic Siege run been 30k bronze.
Well, you do need 1.7 million bronze
if
you wanted everything.
If you wanted literally everything, which is
not their intent. But
no,
it's not their intent. But as has been shown in other things, sometimes it may not be their intent, but a lot of people feel, I'll have to do it.
It's the problem they'll run into here, and they've drawn their line in the sand, and people will be struggling. They're suddenly very negative about it. I'm having a blast. Did you know there's this thing called subjective experience? And as I've been saying, I've had an excellent time right until I didn't, because the game was then literally as a user experience for that time bad. We don't have to think in absolutes if something's good or bad. We can think in sort of some things are good, some things are bad, some are little. We had
it's probably not ideal that, as an example, if you're doing Heart of Fear,
you wipe the raid.
Yeah, if somebody is past a certain leveling breakpoint, basically a mechanic scales off the level of the targeted character, but it's not just something that'll kill you. It is raid-wide damage. So yeah, if you have a level 70, it'll just kill the entire raid. This is actually, this is full on a situation where parts of it are broken and almost certainly will need hot fixing. Most people have just been playing the bit of this that's really good, that's working, which is the same bit that I played.
Yeah, because
I had a great time, but I haven't got far enough to run into any of those things.
Yeah, for context, it's been out for 25 and a half hours.
Yes.
It took me 10 to 11 hours of play to hit the wall that wasn't very fun. So you kind of immediately go, okay, well, I can see why this isn't going to be a problem right now for most people, but I can tell you for sure there will be a shit ton of noise over the weekend when people hit 60 and 70 and go, where did my fun go?
Yeah.
Because inherently a lot of the fun is open to you early where you're blasting stuff. You've got a couple of items. You're like a few tinker bits. Because one of the other things is you get so many tinker slots that, and this is it feels good to get loads of tinker slots, but they kind of overdo it based on what's available. So you end up with you can't really synergize everything all the time. You do get a lot of nice to haves, but in terms of needing the really strong ones, if you get Brittle and Slay early enough, and say a Enkindle or a Wildfire or something like that, or a Missile Barrage, Meteor Storm, anything like that, you get 4 of those, and you're gaming like hell the whole time. And then you notice that the procs of those start to do a little bit less damage as you scale because of how the scaling works against, and you have more Tinker Gems, and you kind of get to the point where you go, well, I would like, you get a new Tinker slot, and you don't go, oh yay, you go, I need to figure out, it's not like, oh no, but you go, I want to figure out what I'm going to put in here, what is going to give me some sort of benefit. And it's a little bit the fun is really front loaded.
So with something like a game like say Diablo, and I think it is relevant talking about that because of what this, because of the genre, I think they literally said that this is very ARPG inspired.
Yeah.
So
literally.
If you're playing, let's just say D4, well, what world tier you're doing will be based on partially what level you are, but also what difficulty you want to opt into, right? But then for the actual endgame repeatable content, yes, you can go at a high enough sigil nightmare dungeon to the point where it feels like you're really weak and are being destroyed because you don't have enough power for that. But the whole point of a game like that is you're trying to make your power curve go up like this, you're always trying to push harder and harder and harder, but strike a right balance. But the core point is you're getting more and more and more rewards. Your character feels really powerful. In something like this, it just hasn't really happened. Because it's as if, because of how the scaling has worked, it's like you have gear and level appropriate for World Tier 2, but actually you're playing in World Tier 3. So it's just not tuned to a point where it's actually going to feel fun to you, basically.
Yeah. More or less.
I know that using Diablo as an analogy here is weird, but it maps on surprisingly well.
From the same studio, from the same developer, company that makes Diablo, I'm sure they asked questions and talked things, because it's very, very good at that. So there's certainly a case for maybe if I went and sank my 30k bronze into gear upgrades, I'd immediately having a better time. Because you're basically right on that net soccer saying it sounds like not enough stamina. And it very much feels like they literally just have that gap in the middle of, oh shit. Which is where bronze being, bronze being the thing you want to spend on your cosmetics, but also your upgrades, is a little bit of a, that's going to cause more problems than I think it would solve. I don't know why they didn't give separate currency for that. I think I kind of like the idea of having one special event currency, but it certainly splits how people are going to play down the middle. I saw someone ask how many gems are there? There's a gem procurement dragon that you can give bronze to, 200 for tinkers, 400 for cogwheel, 500 for metas. And you'll know when you have all of the gems available because they will literally say you've got all the gems, you can't buy this. So unless you sink a shit ton of gems into, and gems, actual like the stat gems, stop scaling. Sorry, don't stop scaling. They stop upgrading at legendary. So you don't just combine them forever.
Yeah.
You combine them enough that you have all of the things. So you could spend a load of bronze buying random chip gems and then upgrade. So it feels a little bit weird. Like there may be other examples where like maybe tanks and stuff at 70 are having a little bit of a better time based on certain things. I don't know.
Do you have any legendary gems?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got 2 legendary gems and they give like 1,000 stamina apiece. On top of all the stat they give. So it's not like I'm particularly behind. I have a thing full of epic and legendary gems. Like it's just my item level. I hit the thing, go, well, how do I get my item level? Throw bronze into it seems to be the answer. At least as far as I can tell. Now I didn't actually do a huge amount of content after I hit 70 because it was 6:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm fucking tired. I need to do something else. But so like a lot of this could change pretty handily with another couple hours of 70 gameplay, but like the 60 to 70 period was a fucking pain. It was a pain. Like, just, sorry, you can't do dungeons. Okay, cool, thanks. What can I do? Questing slow? Okay, sure, that's fine. So it is certainly something else, and I can't particularly say I am full transparency. I'm very tired, and I'm behind on work. And I played for 12 hours. So there's a little bit of bias in me going, the most recent experience I had was wanting to tear out my hair. So I'll maybe a little bit gloss over how much fun it was for the first 60 levels, doing all the MoP stuff, blowing mobs up, walking into a group with Stormkeeper, just blasting chain lightnings everywhere, doing all of the dungeons in some scenarios with friends early. That was fantastic. We had a great time at the beginning of it. And then at the end, I'm like, why did I do this? This was a mistake. When the example I think they tend to use for like World of Warcraft is exploit early, exploit often.
Yeah.
Because if something's a wee bit busted, they'll let it slip. But if things are very broken, you know when it's like, when they're going to do a rollback on something stupid, and when something's, we'll let you fly with that one.
Can we have a comedic aside?
Sure.
So I decided to go to Reddit to just see what people are saying in the Warcraft sub, and the unhinged mobile game adverts.
Yes.
So, let's see. I think I need to take command. There we go. So, in this mobile game advert, there is a woman in the ground eating all the wee lads. There you go. Unhinged mobile game ad.
I love those, honestly.
I haven't seen a lot of people talking about the higher stuff in Remix. Broadly speaking, people seem to be very happy and having a good time. Yep. However, levels, I think. Like, the initial experience and the initial 60 levels, brilliant. It's just that there's, the edge case is like, you cannot go into a raid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can, but, you'll get destroyed. Very interesting. It's a shame, but I can see this as being something they could readily improve.
Eminently fixable.
Yeah. What would the fix be? Just scale better?
Just fix it. Just fix it for it. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, actually, just hand me the spreadsheet and I'll do it. No, fucking fix it. Fix your scaling. Make it not go and you die now. Can't be that difficult. It can be that difficult. It can be extremely difficult. It can be a good fucking nightmare because this is a shit ton of miles that drives the entire game.
And I guess how old things, like maybe some newer things in the back end are going to be working on a percentage of your health, or I don't know. Well, If everything worked in percentage of health, that would obviously not work for endgame.
There's something
you
like
can see how the mathematical implementation of boss abilities will then interface with scaling in a way that is a challenge. Which is probably why every time there's a stat squish or something like that, suddenly people who are trying to solo a old mythic raid realize, oh, I'm suddenly weaker, or whatever weird thing has happened.
Yeah, there's something possibly in the realm of like apply a buff to the cloak that applies basic different scaling based on item level. Like reduce damage taken, extra damage dealt to kind of smooth over like a certain period of item level, something like that. But yeah, as far as I know, they have tables for each level, and we'll probably cut down the numbers in the higher level range. Yeah, that's the awkward part, because that applies to the live game, unless they can apply something via the cloak buff, because the cloak buff is kind of the thing that exists there for you to use. So oh my god, I'm interesting. I'm very interested in seeing where they go with this, and if they can kind of improve this, because
Sorry.
Are you just enjoying the Vor ads? You fucking.
Well, no, this one actually wasn't Vor. It was just another ad as I was going through searching things that people have been finding on Remix. In this case, instead of being eaten by a strange woman, the loot is placed in a rather risky location. So there you go. Hero Wars Dominion.
Risky or risque?
Risque. Both.
Yeah.
Because they do, in fact, fall into a dungeon and then have got to play exciting merge-based gameplay.
The part I hate about that is sometimes I'll watch those to see how enhanced they are, and I'm like, that is vaguely compelling to me. Like the pathing problem solving is like vaguely interesting. I'm like, that would be fun to play. That would be fun to play. It's just a loot chest. It sure is. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Gwendolyn. Guinevere.
There's not.
Guinevere. Something enough. He downloaded the mobile game. I bet he did. I know what it is. I will tell you if as soon as the stream ends he starts playing. I will let you know. Narrator's voice. He plays Blue Archive. Shut the. Yes. Quiet. Okay. Be quiet.
Thanks, narrator.
Narrator always had to get me.
Narrator got him back.
Yeah, bastard. Yeah, is it actually messed up, or did everyone plan to plow over the stuff, but it was tuned for you not to? It's tuned for you to blow everything to pieces until a certain point where you die immediately any time you breathe. So yeah, both sides of the spectrum exist here.
Wild.
I like the core to me is like I probably would have immediately spammed all my bronze at upgrades, but with bronze being like a concern for getting everything, or not that I want everything. That I want a lot of things. So I'm like, also I'm kind of going, how much bronze do I get for this? Can I just like not spend bronze for ages and then see what I want to buy towards the end?
That's another question then.
And it's like,
like, do you think that, let's say, dumping 10k bronze would have improved your situation greatly?
I assume it would have, but I cannot really say.
Okay.
Because I forget all of the item level and costs. The catch-up ones were okay. Like, if you have... it was like 500 to bring an item level from 66 to like 300. But it scales up pretty fast. Because, like, you can't, because you need an average item level to upgrade a bit more. So, you can't just get one item and max it out. But if I wanted to max out my weapon, and if I theoretically could... it would have cost 146,000 bronze.
Huh.
They went number scale. Wee.
Yeah.
I think. So there's something where like the how do I describe this? I think it's like a little bit of fuck it. It's an experiment. Just ship it and we'll see what happens. That they just went, what if we just scale it up really high? Whatever the fuck, it's fine. It's fine, because even if you're like doing say Mythic Siege does give 30k, and you're doing it every day, that's still like multiple days of Mythic Siege to upgrade a piece. So it depends on like how fast the item level upgrades get from, what do you call it? Upgrading from like natural gear progression, like getting more boxes from requests and things like that. Because if that's fast enough, then it could alleviate the problem as well. But it certainly did immediately put me off wanting to play anything on that character because it just went weak as shit as soon as I hit that level.